it's more expensive to own a home than it is to rent. Also, it's more expensive to rent than it is to own a home. These are questions and statements that come out constantly from the media, my clients, that are asked of me of what makes sense for me to purchase, especially if I'm a first-time buyer, and should I wait? A recent article on Realtor.com came out that stated that 47 out of the top 50 metro areas in the US, that it's about $1,200 a month less to rent the same house that they could purchase. Now, here's the thing, that is true when you look at it just from a gross surface narrative standpoint. When you dive into the details, though, the story could be very different, and it especially could be very different for you, meaning that everyone has unique attributes and why they're moving. Why do they want to own a home? Are they saving in order to rent? And does the higher monthly payment deter them from purchasing a house? So let's dive into the numbers a little bit so I can show you what are the pros, what are the cons, and why you should consider always diving into the details when you're thinking about purchasing your first home. So I'm going to share my screen with you here, and I'm going to show you a house that's currently on the market, listed at right around $650,000. 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. And let's look at what the numbers look like if you were to rent this same house versus if you were to purchase it. So let's start with the actual home. So here's the home I'm going to use for the purpose of this demonstration. This is currently listed in Santa Rosa, California, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, listed at $649,000. Really cute house, great starter home. And it's really well maintained in a great area. So it's a great example of what it would look like for you or for anyone on a first-time home purchase. Now, I have some great software that's called Buy versus Rent. I'm going to show you by inputting these numbers what it looks like. And I'm going to be very conservative in these numbers to show you what is the actual payment and what's the gain of purchasing versus maybe renting the same home. So in this renting input section, I've already put down that rent on a home like this is $3,400 a month. So I'm using $3,400 a month for rent. And whenever you rent, you're still going to have renter's insurance. That is a cost of renting as well. And I use $50 a month as a factor there. Now, annual rent increases, I'm using 3%. Now, keep in mind that the average renewal rate right now is 8% per year. So I'm being extremely conservative in my annual rent increase because I want to paint the picture that there still is a lot of pros to purchasing. So I'm going to use that for the rental side of things. Now, on the property side of things, I'm going to show that this purchase is going to be $649,000. Property taxes are about $8,100 a year. Monthly home insurance is about $150 a month. And I'm even going to show that property taxes could increase approximately 2% from whatever the payment is per year over a 9-year time frame. I'm putting repairs in here too, by the way. This is something that's overlooked a lot of times when someone's purchasing their first home, is that it is going to cost you money to maintain the home. I think it's important to put that in there. I'm using $250 a month for maintenance on an annual basis because you can't call a landlord when you rent the house and say, hey, can you come fix the dishwasher? So we're using $250 a month there. Now, on the loan side of things, I'm showing this with a 15% down payment. Okay, so right here we have a 15% down payment, 30-year fixed rate. I'm going to use 7 between $14,000 to $19,000. So I'm going to be the most conservative and use $19,000. Now on the home ownership inputs here, I'm going to show you that I'm going to use 9 years as a holding time, meaning that average person right now is moving about once every 8.3 to 9.2 years on the most recent survey of how long people are staying in their homes before they sell it and move somewhere else. So I'm going to use 9 years that you're going to live in this home or you're going to rent this home. So own this home or rent this home for 9 years. Now, appreciation rate, this is what's interesting. Okay, so you can see down here, historical appreciation, and that's the amount of value increase in equity that your house goes up over time. Historical average is 5.68% per year. Now, the forecasted average right now is 6.08%, but I'm going to use the lower of the two and just go with 5.68, once again, to be conservative. I'm putting in a tax rate here of a 24% tax bracket. So that means if you are a single person and you are making approximately $86,000 to $164,000 a year, you're in a 24% tax bracket. Here's why that's important. Right below that, it says filing status standard deduction. So even when you rent, you still get a tax write-off. You get a standard deduction, okay, of $13,850 for housing. So I'm including that, once again, being totally transparent and extremely conservative in this. Now, let's take a look at what the numbers actually look like here. So you can see where I'm circling this here, where it says by year one. I'm just going to blow this up a little bit more. So this first column that I'm circling right here is if you were to purchase this home. If you were to purchase this home, your monthly payments would be right around $4,945 on a monthly basis. Keep in mind, that does take into consideration $250 of maintenance, okay, on the property. This includes property taxes, homeowners insurance, mortgage insurance, everything. Okay, now over here in the second column where it says rent 1 year in purple, I'm showing you that your rent payment is going to be $3,400 a month plus your $50 insurance. So you're going to be at $3,450 on a monthly basis if you were just to rent this property. Now, over a 9-year time frame, so you can see here, you're going to pay $419,892 in rent, versus if you purchase the house and you own it, you're going to pay $540,216. So at a surface level, of course, is it cheaper to rent? Yes. At a surface, from a straight payment standpoint, you're going to pay $120,000 more if you were to own the property. So that means that if you rent this property, you pay $120,000 less. But here's where it gets interesting, is when we move down here and we look at the appreciation gain. So remember, I used 5.68%, which is the historical annual appreciation rate. That means some years it goes up by 15%, some years it goes up by 2%, but it has averaged 5.68% in appreciation. So over a 9-year time frame, this house using 5.68% appreciation rate is going to give you a gain of $418,190 in equity, in value in the property when you purchase it. Now, that doesn't happen when you rent, obviously. Now, on the right-hand side, it says amortization gain. What is that? Well, an amortization gain is the amount of principal you're paying off your loan. So remember, when you're paying rent, you don't pay down any principal because you're not owning the property. It's not a loan. You're just paying someone else who has a loan on the property. So over 9 years, you're going to pay principal balance of your loan off at $65,286 over that 9-year time frame. So that means your remaining principal balance at the end of 9 years is $486,000. Now, when we come down a little bit further, there's this tax benefits section. Okay, so standard deduction, as I went over, is about $13,850, even if you rent in a 24% tax bracket. But you can see that you have a tax benefit above and beyond that by owning a home of $70,952. That's essentially almost $800 a month in a tax benefit. So net, that means your actual payments that you're making are about $800 less a month when you look at your mortgage. So benefit there. Now, because I'm so conservative and there's not a right or wrong whether you rent or whether you own, this is just about facts. I did put in a cost to sell in here just to be really, really conservative, meaning that, hey, if you were to sell this property in the future, you're going to have to pay, a realtor to market the property, sell the property, get it done correctly, legally, etc. So I even factored in $53,000 commissions paid to real estate agents in order to sell this property in the future. Now, net, when we run all the numbers, you can see down here net gain by buying a home. In the first year, it's going to be $20,000 more expensive because of closing costs, higher monthly payments, etc., to own the house. But in year 2, you're already ahead with appreciation gains, etc. And then every year thereafter, it grows from paying down the loan, tax deductions, as well as the equity increase through long-term appreciation. So you can see that your appreciation gain, plus your amortization gain, plus your tax benefit, and I subtracted out these red numbers, the cash flow difference. So that would be the higher monthly payment compared to renting. It would be the cost to sell if you were to sell it. I back that out. Also the closing cost, back that out. You still have a net gain of $361,744 if you were to purchase this home versus renting this same exact property. Now, once again, I make this video not to say that this is why every single person should buy. That is absolutely not true. But it is important that you have the numbers and the details handy so that you know why you're making a move and does it make sense for you personally. People make moves when to purchase their first home for a number of reasons, and they rarely have to do with, is my monthly payment going to be the same as what I'm renting at currently? Because that rarely actually happens. Here are the reasons why people make moves. Stability. Okay, knowing that you don't have to move whenever your landlord decides they want to move into the property, sell the property, etc. You don't have to deal with rent increases, so there's predictability as well. So you have stability, you have predictability. You have making a home your own. You could have a growing family where you need more space and you want to be in a different location or looking for different schools that are going to be good for your children and a place you want to raise your family. And then, of course, there's always just the pride of home ownership. So if you have questions about this and you're a consumer, please feel free to reach out to me. If you're a real estate agent and you're viewing this and you would like me to make one of these specific for one of your buyers, I'm happy to do that as well. So just know this. Renting is okay. Buying is okay. Just make sure that you have a good plan and you're working with a great person so that you don't make a mistake.